Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we're going to be going over the latest episode of Godfather of Harlem, Season 3, Episode 8, called Homeland or Death. All right, guys, let's get into this episode, which was pretty intense, okay? Malcolm tells Bumpy that he no longer wants him on his security detail. He basically tells Bumpy that a man can't fix nowhere else if his own house isn't in order because, Bumpy did tell him that he's lost Mamie, okay? Plus, I guess Malcolm is kind of tired of the fact that Bumpy is still involved in criminal activity. But I feel like this is a very bad move, guys. Of course, taking Bumpy off your detail is bringing Malcolm closer to death, okay? And so with saying that, obviously, with Bumpy no longer doing security, it's going to make it easier to get to Malcolm, all right? Meanwhile, while Bill shows Jose Battle how he plans on killing two birds with one stone, or two commies with one stone, okay? That is Che and Malcolm, by using an M20. Also, we see Bumpy going to see Jose to tell him to leave Malcolm the heck alone, okay? You can do whatever you want to Che, but don't touch Malcolm. So Jose tells Bumpy that if he wants to save his friend, tell him not to show up at the United Nations. Next, Olympia goes to Uncle Louie and tells him that Joe Colombo is the devil and he is spreading lies to the other bosses to destroy their family. She tells Louie that Joe Colombo wants to start a war and that he needs to go talk to the other bosses. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? How you going to tell this priest to get involved? So I'm just like, Uncle Louie, please be smart and don't get involved. You have no business trying to put yourself in the line of fire, basically, right? But I'm also thinking to myself, ain't nobody gonna try to kill a priest, right? But hey, when you're dealing with Joe Colombo, the rules don't freaking apply, all right? But anyway, she is trying to press the issue even after Father Louie says, I don't think I should get involved in this stuff. And she says, listen, lives are at stake. What would Jesus do? You got to say to yourself, what would Jesus do? And I'm like, you know what? That's a nice way to help you make good decisions by saying, what would Jesus do and all that, right? But there's certain times where you just got to understand that you are not Jesus, okay? And this is one of those moments where you need to just fall the heck back and send up some prayers. You understand? Anyway, so Bumpy goes to warn Malcolm and Che that the CIA is planning to kill them both at the UN. So Che, he got the same attitude as Malcolm, guys. He doesn't want to act like a coward. He says to Bumpy, what do you do when faced with an enemy? Do you run? Do you hide? And Bumpy says, I fight, right? But I fight smart. And I'm so glad he said this because this has been my plight with Malcolm, right? And a lot of you out there as well, that he went into this cause with little regard to his own life, right? And I loved when Bumpy says to Malcolm, what good could a man do for blacks and browns if he's dead? Which makes perfect sense, okay? Now, he ends off by telling Che that he and Malcolm should not be in the same place at the same daggone time, all right? Next, Mamie is with Lillian, and Lillian tells her that she can't believe Archie was involved with criminal activity. And Mamie says that she'll never forgive Bumpy for involving Archie in his affairs. But once again, like I said last week, guys, Archie was a grown man who knew full well what he was getting into, okay? And he made the decision all the same, all right? Now, anyway, Lillian goes on to tell Mamie that she never understood how a good Christian woman like her could marry a criminal like Bumpy Johnson, okay? She tells Mamie to find herself a good man, stay away from Bumpy Johnson, and never look back. So then, guys, Bumpy comes by and he has flowers in his hand. Mamie thinks the flowers are for her. And he's like, no, they're for Lillian, So he asks Mamie for a favor. He says, please talk to Powell and see if he can put federal agents on Malcolm because he's in danger. So she tells Bumpy that Adam is in Washington right now, so she will have to talk to Roy Wingate. So when Bumpy was getting ready to leave, she's like, is there anything else, And he's like, I love you or whatever, come home. And that was that, because he was also saying that he understands that begging and pleading is not going to do anything. So I'm not here for that. I'm here for Malcolm, right? And you can see that as he's leaving, she misses her man. And she ain't feeling the place or the space that she's in right now. But she got to play hardball. She mad at him. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, guys, next, Malcolm meets with Alex Haley, and he discusses his autobiography with him. He tells Alex that he fears that he's running out of time, and he wants to write another chapter in his book about his friendship with Bumpy. He tells Alex that he wants white society to know that they should fear Bumpy even more than they fear him. Next, Father Louie goes to the commission with Olympia's concerns, which are falsehoods, by the way, right? But Father Louie still tells the commission that he's conveying a message from his brother Chin. He tells them to stop the rumors and pray for Chin's release. Then he tells them that Chin wants them to know that he's lost all faith in Joe Colombo and no longer wants him to look after his affairs in Harlem. Chin wants it to be known that he and Joe no longer have any agreement. Okay, so my first thought is this really what Chin is saying? Did you actually go and speak to your brother? Or is this all Olympia? You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. To come from a woman who is saying this, and she was making it seem like Chin was saying all of this stuff as well. And I just think that it would have been smarter to check with your brother first. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so, Joe Colombo, he is pissed about this, guys. He's the only one that looked really, really pissed off. I mean, he should have been the one pissed off because, like he says, there is no more ties. We don't have any agreement, right? So like I said, he's pissed off and he tells Stella about it because, he can't believe the nerve of this priest. What kind of priest is this, So Stella tells him that this had to be Olympia's idea. So what they got to do now is convince Uncle Louie that Olympia is lying. This is because Chin trusts his brother Louie above anyone else, right? But Joe or Stella, they don't know how the heck they're going to convince Louie that Olympia is lying. But one thing's for sure, Joe is ready to take action because he fears that the other bosses will side with Chin even if they know that Joe is telling the truth. But that's where his leverage with Tommy should come in, right? But anyway, this fool Joe is going to tell Stella that he's never killed a freaking priest before, but there's a first time for everything. So Stella pleads with him not to do this because her Uncle Louie has been the only family member that has been good to her. So she's like, let me go talk to him first, right? So Joe, he's a freaking trip, guys. That's all I got to really say, because who the freak would kill a daggone priest? Like, in their line of work, right? You would think they would all draw the freaking line at killing a priest. But once again, this dude does not play by the rules, right? So anyway, guys, so Stella, she goes to Uncle Louie and she tells him straight up, like, Olympia's lying and she put a hit out on me and, all of this. And so he does not believe her. He's like, what happened to your meds? Are you taking your meds? Why would you lie like this? You know that Olympia is a good woman and all this garbage. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? As much as Stella has come to him and confided in him, she's told him like so many things that have put him in a bad position. Why do you think she would lie to you about this? So anyway, guys, neither freaking here nor there, right? Because she tells her uncle, she says, you know what, Uncle Louie, I'm going to send up 10 Hail Marys for you because you're going to need them. Because she's trying to let him know that you are playing with fire and you're about to get yourself killed, okay? So she leaves, and, later on, Joe Colombo has two of his guys, grab up Uncle Louie in broad daylight and hold him while Joe delivers a gut punch, right? And he's saying something, it looks like, we can't hear what he's saying, but we see that he's saying something to him. So he comes back into the car and Stella is in the car. And he tells Stella that I told him, to just, it wasn't nice what he said to you. and to just mind your freaking business. And you're the reason why he's still alive, right? Stella's the one that has basically spared his life. So that was good. I'm glad they didn't kill Uncle Louie, because that would have really pissed me off, because, you know, like I said, I'm obviously tired of Joe because he just doesn't play by the rules. All right, so let's move on, guys. So next, Bumpy goes to Elise and tells her to do whatever she can to stop Malcolm from going to the UN. But Elise tells Bumpy that Malcolm has been working hard for this moment. Plus, it's as if he knows he's going to die and has accepted it, right? So next, we see that Wild Bill and the CIA are going hard to kill Che and Malcolm. They're even staging a protest to create a distraction. So meanwhile, Bumpy has his men trying to figure out how the CIA plans to kill Che and Malcolm. Chance understands that killing one man would cause a frenzy, making it impossible to kill the second man. So Bumpy sends Pettigrew to go stake out Joe Battle's place to find out who's coming and who's going. Then he sends Chance to deliver a message to Wild Bill, and during his time there, he sees a box that says stovepipe. Chance was definitely the right man for this job, guys, because, you know, he's a war vet who knew that these were M20 rocket launchers, okay? He knew how far they could be launched and the damage they could do. He also tells Bumpy that he saw a fruit truck, and that tactic goes way back to the Civil War, in which they used to hide weapons, okay? So Bumpy tells Chance that he wants him and Pettigrew to cover from Hunter's Point all the way to the Pepsi sign and look for the fruit truck along the way, right? In the meantime, he will be canceling Malcolm's schedule for that day. And it's just so sad because, you know, he loves Malcolm so much. He doesn't give a crap what Malcolm says. He doesn't care if Malcolm has accepted his death, because he will not accept it, because that's how much he loves his friend. I mean, we saw how stressed out Bumpy was in this episode. Not only the fact that his wife walked away from him, but he's also afraid for his friend. So this is like an unsurmountable amount of pressure, right? Next, Lillian hires a private investigator, and Mamie doesn't appreciate this because it will put Bumpy in danger, okay? Because what Lillian wants is, she wants to investigate the murder of her husband, and she doesn't feel like she can trust the police to do it. But like I said, Mamie is not feeling this, because she's like, this is putting Bumpy in danger. They're going to be looking at his business and all of that. And Lillian was like, I don't care, neither should you. Like, you're on his side, you're defending him. She said, you bet your freaking behind I am on his side. And Mamie was like, call that man off now, before I snatch that wig off your head and parade you up and down St. Nick. I said, what? My girl done turned gangster real quick. She does not play about her man. Like, she don't, right? It don't matter if I'm mad at him. It don't matter if I said I'm not ever going to forgive him. That's my husband, okay? I wasn't ride or die for all these years just to turn it off that quick. Heck out of here. So next, after going through the plan for the assassination attempt on Che and Malcolm, Wild Bill tells Battle that his men can't be left alive after the deed is done. And Jose was like, I was under the impression that they would only be killed if arrests were made. So after Wild Bill tells Jose that succeed or fail, his men have to die, you could see on Jose's face that he wasn't happy about this, right? And at this point, guys, I just need Jose to understand that playing the white man's game is never going to be fair for him. You know what I'm saying? Not with these type anyway, you know? Wasn't going to be fair with the Italians, and it's not fair with the CIA. Next, Bumpy shows up with his men to Malcolm's house, and he tells Malcolm that he will shoot him in this pinky toe if he has to, okay? Because you ain't going no daggone where. All right. Meanwhile, Che Guevara has arrived to the UN, and Malcolm watches his speech from TV, and he tells Bumpy that he will never forgive him for this, right? Now, after Malcolm sees that Che's speech was a success, he also tells Bumpy that his precautions were unnecessary after all, and he wants Bumpy and his men to leave for good. So Bumpy was like, okay, have it your way, Malcolm, right? Now, Malcolm tells Bumpy that his precautions were unnecessary, but little did he know the plan was foiled, okay? Chance and Pettigrew showed up right on time as the dude, well, Jose Battles' dude, was about to fire the missile. Actually, he did fire the missile, but because Chance shot him, the missile wound up going into the water instead of into the building. So I wish Malcolm would know that, you know? And so Bumpy leaves, and when he gets home, he sees that his wife has returned. And Mamie goes to him, kisses him, and tells him that she can't live without him. And it's as simple as that, okay? And Malcolm was like, I was so lost. I was clapping, guys. I was happy that Mamie returned, okay? Now, in the last scene, Alex Haley has finished writing the chapter on Bumpy, and he lets Malcolm know that he understands his thesis about Bumpy, that a society that denies opportunity to a black man can only expect him to become an outlaw. And Alex Haley was excited about this now because at first he wasn't. Like, why you want to write a chapter about a criminal, you know? But Malcolm made him understand who Bumpy was and why he was, right? But now that Malcolm is mad at Bumpy for saving his life, he tells Alex that he was wrong about Bumpy and that a man like him can't change. Then he rips up the freaking paper, y'all. And that is how the episode ends. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you over here severing ties with Bumpy. Are you freaking serious? He loves you. He tried to save your life. He did save your life. You know, just for a little longer. My goodness, guys. But anyway, that's the video, guys, for today. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.